out of 5. Plantar flexion strength, 3 out of 5. Inversion, 4 out of 5. What I want you to think about is there are a lot of muscles that work in the ankle and foot that actually perform more than one joint motion. So what I want you to know is that there are different ways to do these tests. You can do what's called a composite test, which means you're testing multiple muscles to do one combination movement. For example, dorsiflexion, the most powerful mover of dorsiflexion is the tibialis anterior, but the peroneus tertius also contributes to it from the lateral aspect. What I'm trying to say is, you could just easily bring your toes up and just test dorsiflexion. Or you can position the test to bias certain muscles. Since we know that tibialis anterior is the prime mover and the most significant contributor, that's the one we want to isolate. So you may have seen that in the video. The tibialis anterior not only dorsiflexes the talocrural joint, it inverts through the subtalar joint. So to isolate the tibialis anterior in a manual muscle test, you want to have the patient bring their toes up and in. Okay? And as you recall, the tibialis anterior muscle belly is just lateral to that tibial crest. Remember when we were trying to place electrodes in 101 lab last term? Just lateral to that border. Relax. And as you recall last week, you're going to apply the force. I like to do it with my dominant hand, and then with the other hand you're going to stabilize and palpate. Now there are lots of variations to doing this. In the video, they show the tester is applying force with the patient high up for leverage, and the tester is seated. I'm never a big fan of doing manual muscle testing seated, but I will show you the way they do it, and I'll show you another modification. So, for the tibialis anterior, go ahead and bring your toes up and in. If she can reasonably bring her toe up and in against gravity in this position, we can assume that she's at least a 3 out of 5, because she can move against gravity without any resistance. We don't know that she's a 3, we know she's at least a 3 out of 5. I'm going to have her bring her toes up and in. Okay, I'm going to look for that contraction here. And I believe in the video, I'm going to raise this up as high as it'll go, and that's it. What you're going to do, since the muscle action is to dorsiflex and invert, you want to apply resistance to pull her out. So an opposite combination movement. So when I apply my resistance, I'm going to try to pull her out of dorsiflexion and out of inversion. So my force is going to be down and out as she pulls up and in. Okay? To isolate the tibialis anterior. I'm going to stabilize and palpate here. So I'm going to hold the calf so that she's not extending her knee or rotating her hip. And I'm going to make sure that I feel that tibialis anterior firing so that I know I'm isolating the muscle I'm after. Toes up and in. Okay? So you can either come underneath, and you can grab kind of the forefoot, and you can pull her down and away. And relax. You can go without the stool. If you can get really low, it's hard for me in this wooden shoe. Go ahead and bring your toes up and in. If you can really squat, you can basically just drop your weight, hold, 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 and relax. And what was the last way? I think you can reasonably try to do it this way. It's harder for me. Bring your toes up and in. You can kind of come over the top. And try to push her down. Hold, 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 and relax. So again, lots of variations. You can do it seated, which doesn't give you a lot of leverage because you're having to use a lot of your arm because you can't shift your body weight very well. Okay? But again, you're going to stabilize here. You're going to pull down and out. Hold, 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 and relax. Don't hold your breath. Okay? Toes up and in. And hold, 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 and relax. She can hold against moderate resistance. She's a 4. She can hold against maximal resistance without signs of compensation or cheating. 5 out of 5, no deficit. I believe that the test for less than a 3 is in the same position, and if she can only move her foot and ankle through a partial range into the test position, then she's a 2. And if she can try to initiate the movement and you feel a muscular contraction over that tibialis anterior muscle belly, she's a 1. Nope, that'd be a 2. Just try to move as if it was like lead. It's hard to do. And then if there was no palpable muscular contraction at all through cueing her to move, then she would be a 0. In which case, you would need a foot and ankle orthosis so that she didn't drag her foot when she walked.
Now, do I remember correctly that pretty much all those ratings are
Standard?
standard descriptions of?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So if they can move against gravity into the testing position, they're going to be a 3. 4 is a moderate resistance, 5 is maximal. And then partial range, either in a gravity eliminated or gravity dependent, depending on the muscle, is a 2. Palpable trace with no movement through the joint is a 1. And then no contraction at all is a 0. So, different ways to do it. I would say for your body, if you can do it without a stool, that's ideal. But if you can't, if it's best for you to get leverage down here, then do it. Try your best to shift your weight through your ankles still by sliding the stool if you have to. That's for tibialis anterior. Next, we're going to do the lateral aspect of the foot. We're going to isolate, well, the peroneals as a group, specifically the peroneus longus and the peroneus brevis. And collectively, they work to plantar flex and evert the foot in a combination movement. So now we're going to do the same thing, just in the opposite quadrant. So before I had her lift up and in, now I'm going to have her push down and out. Same rules apply. What I like to do is I like to come underneath the foot and grab. So what I'm going to have her do, point your toes down and out. And again, I'm going to apply resistance to pull her out of that position. I'm going to pull her up and in. Okay? So what I like to do, stabilize and palpate here. Okay, so I'm stabilizing the leg so she doesn't rotate her hip, extend her knee. My fingers are wrapping around to feel those peroneals firing here on the lateral aspect of the lower leg. And I'm going to actually come underneath and I'm going to grab the outside of her foot. Go ahead and point your toe down and out. Don't let me pull you up and in. Hold it right there, hold it right there, hold it right there, and relax. So it's almost like a scooping force. My resistance is coming up and in. So I'm not just pulling over, I'm pulling up and over. Up and in, right? Do you feel that? I'm kind of resisting both. Mm-hmm. So you can do it on the stool. Hold it right there, hold it right there, hold it right there, and relax. You can ditch the stool. Same thing, point it down and out. Hold. Don't let me pull you up and in. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and release. Or I think you can do this one lying down as the video showed you. I don't like it quite as much, but they're not very big muscles, so they don't need a lot of force. A little further. Point your toes down and out. I believe you can stabilize here. Feel the muscle contract underneath your palm. You can take the the blade of your hand and wrist here, and you can come in kind of on the first metatarsal, and you can apply force up and in. Hold it right there, hold it right there, hold it, and release. You guys, wasn't that in the video? Supine? And these are the exercises. These are the MMTs where you want to cue the patient to keep their toes as relaxed as possible, because that's a good way for them to cheat through all of these. Okay. So again.